So I got to see Set Help at an early screening. Now I was really excited for this movie. I'm a big Sam Raimi fan, and I thought the trailers looked great for this movie. I thought this movie was fantastic. There's really no nitpicks or negatives that I personally have with the movie. So when it comes to all the positives and things I really love about this movie, the two actors, Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, I think they're great in this movie. To me, they're perfect casting in this movie. Like you feel invested in their characters. Their characters are compelling, interesting. Even the character that Dylan O'Brien's playing, where he's playing a douchey young boss. There's times where I hate him. There's also times where I found him really likable and sympathetic towards him. And Rachel McAdams does a great job of playing this character where you find her extremely likable, and at the same time you feel so sympathetic towards her, and she's just so interesting and compelling. She has tons of personality, her character, where there's moments where she's really fun also. And the chemistry between these two in this movie, I think, is great in this movie. I love the banter back and forth the two characters were having when they were stuck on the island. Does a great job setting up the story and characters. The story keeps you guessing too, which I love. Like it kept me on the edge of my seat, where it's this great thriller. And this movie was also a lot more funny than I thought. Was It shouldn't be that surprised when you had Sam Raimi when you go back to like Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, and even Drag Me to Hell, which is a horror movie that I love. He has a way of like having like really funny comedy in his movies, while at the same time being very dark. And this movie does have like a dark sense of humor, but it still has great tension in this movie. It never loses the tension. Like you always feel like even when you're laughing, you find it really funny. The parts in this movie, it still is able to stress to being very tense and filled, and it keep you on the edge of your seat. And I love the twists and tones the story goes. Like it keeps you guessing. Like where the third act goes, I'm gonna get into some spoilers here. So if you haven't seen the movie, stop the video now. It goes in some great twists where I was like, I wasn't expecting that, and it can be brutal at times, which I think does a great job to add to the edge and tension of the movie. And like the third act, where you see that the people she saw earlier in the movie, this is the spoilers part. The people she saw earlier in the movie for a scene, and then you don't see them ever again in the movie. You find out later on. Dylan O'Brien gets to this house on the island, this really nice mansion type house that he goes in and it's emptied, and the two people you saw earlier, she actually killed them. So I love that because I didn't see that coming. It does a great job of just like keeping you guessing and going, oh man, I didn't see that coming, and it just keeps you on your toes. And like I said, Wasting with Adam just adds so much personality to this character, where it's like you feel so bad for her at the beginning. It does a great job of setting up her character, where it's just like you feel bad for her, and yet at the same time you can tell something's a little off for a character when they get to the island and all that. It's like you can tell something's a little off, and at the same time she can be scary. There's like a scene where she has a Dylan O'Brien tied up to a tree on an island, and it looks like she's about to cut off his private part, and it had me like believing that she actually did it. So this movie does a great job, just like I said, keeping that tension where you're just like you're not sure what direction the character's gonna go. There's times where she's really funny and fun. There's also times where you go like, yeah, there's something a little off of her character. So it just does a great job with that balance in the movie with the tone. And like I said, it keeps you guessing on your feet. You never know where the story's gonna go. And you feel invested in both their characters. And like I said, the chemistry is just fantastic in this movie. Like I love the back and forth, the banter between the two characters. You feel like you just really invested in both of their characters. They're both compelling and interesting characters with tons of personality. And you just like I said, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. So overall, I thought Set Help was like I said, fantastic. To me, it was a great movie. This to me is one of Sam Raimi's best movies, and this is a movie I hope more people want to see because it's an original movie, and I don't think a lot of people are going to go and see this movie since the movie was in January, and the fact that it's been a slow start to this year, which I think last year was. And I think original movies are just like it's tough to get people out for original movies unless it's like a horror movie. And I hope this is one of those movies that the word of mouth really carries it, because this is a movie deserves to be seen on the big screen. It's a great movie. It's gonna end up being one of my favorite movies of the year. Like for me right now, 28 Years of Bone Temple and this movie are my top movies of the year, with this probably being my favorite slightly over 28 Years of Bone Temple. This is a movie though, like I said, I highly recommend you go check out. Like I hope a lot of people go and see this movie, Send Help, and I cannot wait to see what Sam Raimi does next, because this to me is a great horror thriller, dark while having dark sense of humor, comedy in the movie that's really funny. Like I said, this movie can be really funny at times. It can have it has like a lot of great tension, characters you care about and invested in. So definitely, I recommend go see Sent Help at the theaters until next time, movie fans.